Miami didn't get the best of Jimmy Butler, but whatever. That's just an excuse. So there is the comparison just this season, Jimmy versus Wiggs. 43 games, 25 games. You can see that. Points, Wiggs a little bit more. Rebounds, Butler a little bit more. Better passer is Butler. Steals about the same. Field goal percentage, fair amount higher. But Jimmy's a different offensive kind of a player. He's not a huge three-point guy. He's a really good mid-range guy. So he'll get to the rim. He'll mix it up. And so he's not going to take as many. Three-point percentage a little bit better, whereas, Wiggs doesn't have that mid-range game, so he's more of a slasher and a shooter. Free throw percentage about the same, blah, blah, blah. So I think you can say that while Butler is the overall better player, that in terms of the season Andrew Wiggins is having because he was able to clear his head with his off-the-court issues and his father and all those kind of things, that Jimmy for Wiggins, based on this season alone, there's not a lot of huge difference, and actually Wiggins might have been the better player. And Wiggins is a good guy, and everybody likes him, and I'll play something from Steve Kerr in a second. So just based on this season, there's not a lot of difference. It's not huge. Based in the last 5 years, so in Butler's case, 258 games. In Wiggs' case, almost 300. And I don't care about head-to-head, whatever. But you can see there that, Jimmy's a 20-point scorer when he's on, grabs 6 boards, dish 6 assists. That's the guy they're hoping to get. That's the guy. 51% from the field. Not a great three-point shooter at 32%. Good free throw shooter, and that's big because he gets to the rim, so he gets to the line. So he's going to improve that when we're all complaining about how the Warriors never get to the line. There's a guy that will get to the line. In Jimmy Butler, he knows how to get to the line. So that should improve everything. So with a bigger sample size, other than the 25 games that Jimmy Butler played this season versus the 43 Wiggs played, and Wiggs had a clear head, Jimmy Butler's the better player. Is it huge at this point of their career? We'll see, because Jimmy Butler has got to be playoff Jimmy, and that's who they traded for. So as we talk about different roles and Clark Kent's and Superman's and all these different things and how he's going to fit in, the Warriors, just so you know, think they traded for playoff Jimmy. And maybe they did. They traded for hardcore Jimmy, hard-nosed Jimmy. I got my contract extension. I'm happy Jimmy. That's the guy that dragged the Heat to the NBA Finals, despite the fact that they were a play-in team. Playoff Jimmy, that's the guy that the Warriors are saying that's who we traded for. So if we get complaining Jimmy, and if we get, I'm going to fight with Draymond Jimmy, and I care about, like Durant, I care about what people are saying about me Jimmy, then yeah, that's a problem, and you really didn't gain much, if anything, or you maybe lost something because Wiggins was having a good season. So that's kind of that part of it. You've probably seen the trade, so let me just pop it up there. So this is why they had to put so many people or so many guys in the trade, because Jimmy Butler makes $50 million and Wiggins makes like 28. So now you're still short $20 million. So the Warriors get Butler, the Heat get Wiggins, they get PJ Tucker, protected number one that comes from the Warriors. The Pistons, we hardly knew Lindy Waters. The Jazz get Schroeder. He's going to get bought out, and he's angry. And then I think there might be a holdup with Kyle Anderson, but I don't think he's coming back here. So you had to give up Kyle Anderson, Dennis Schroeder, Lindy Waters, Andrew Wiggins, protected one. You get Butler. You like the move. That's in front of your face right now. Do you like that move to get Butler and give up Wiggins, a protected one, Waters, Schroeder, Anderson? Those names to me don't matter. People were nice to Kyle Anderson, whatever. It didn't move the needle for me. Schroeder, as I told you, wasn't going to be much of a difference maker because he put up numbers on a bad team with a lot of minutes. He was never going to do that here, and it's hard to get those numbers within the context of a winning team. He didn't. We thought that. We knew who he was. He was a veteran. Not that he wasn't going to help a little bit, but I think when people saw him play those 34 minutes a night with the Nets on a bad team, and he was averaging 18 and 6 assists, going, wow, that's where we're getting it. It's like, no, that's not who you're getting. But there's the trade. So tell me what you think of that. And then this was the Butler extension announced by Shams. 2-year, 121 with the franchise through 20, blah, 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 declining, blah, 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 blah. So again, whatever. Millions, millions, millions. You and I can't relate. It's just a matter of Jimmy should be happy. And that's all we care about, right? The number is irrelevant to me. Is Jimmy happy over the next 2 years because he got an extension? I hope so. I mean, that's what they thought they were going to do. So that's what they did, and they gave him an extension. So that's what's done. That's what's done. In terms of, let's see, this I don't think is going to matter, but I put it up on the screen just because I think it's maybe. So this is from The Athletic. This is Anthony Slater, does a great job covering the Warriors. Butler and the Warriors can be viewed as backup plans for each other, a marriage of circumstance between two sides who desired and probably still do desire others, but they're here now. I don't love that. And it's not that I don't love the writing of Anthony Slater, I do. That's not what I mean. What I mean by that is, so Jimmy Butler settled and the Warriors settled. And I always tell you this, sports doesn't always make sense with real life. It doesn't. But when you've settled for something in your life, have you been happy? If you settled for that person when you know you wanted to be with another person, eventually it's going to come, you just go, you know what, this isn't working. You thought it could, but it didn't. Or if you settled, if you ordered something, food, you know, like, I should have ordered that other thing. I know that's overly simplistic, but it's like, you know, I settled for this. I settled for that. You know, they didn't have this, so I bought that. You know, I bought the wrong car. I really wanted that car, but they didn't have it in that color, so I bought this car. And you know, the day you drive it off the lot, you're feeling great. And a couple of days later, you go, what was I thinking? So when I see something like that, the Butler can be viewed as backup plans for each other, a marriage of circumstance between two sides who desired and probably still do desire others, but they're here now. Now, they don't have to be with each other that long because Jimmy Butler's only signing a 2-year extension, but still, my question would be this. Are they going to get bad Jimmy? Not now. Everything's kumbaya right now, at least for a minute. But is he going to get pissed off by not being the alpha when it's Draymond Green because he's been here so long and you're just not going to change that pecking order? Is he going to be pissed when the big shot at the end is going to be drawn up by Steve Kerr and it's not going to be for you, Jimmy, who has hit so many shots in so many big moments on his team, the Miami Heat? Now, he's been on a lot of different teams, but he finally found his team in the Miami Heat, and it was always thought of that way. That's Jimmy Butler's Miami Heat. That's Heat culture brought on by Jimmy Butler. That's Jimmy Butler who dragged them to the NBA Finals. You know, that's Jimmy Butler who played, you know, so well in the bubble. You know, all these different things. Heat Jimmy. Now it's, look, Warriors Steph, Warriors Draymond, Warriors Steve Kerr, Warriors former championships, Warriors Jimmy Butler who just came aboard. Kevin Durant couldn't handle it. Kevin Durant couldn't handle not being, when you thought of the Warriors, you thought of Kevin Durant. He's like, what the hell, bro? I came here. We won 2 championships. I got 2 finals MVP championships. I hit that big jumper against Cleveland to seal that. And if I don't get my Achilles blown out in game 5 and 19, we win that one too. And I can't get respect on my name. Now, look, everybody around here knows we did respect Kevin Durant, but not to the level that he wanted. He wanted that, you know, that godlike status that Steph Curry has because he's been here the whole time. Sorry, dude. You can't be a hired gun and run all over the league and jump to different teams and be that guy. You were that guy in Oklahoma City, and it wasn't good enough for you. Whether it wasn't a big market, you were too big of a fish in a small pond, you didn't think you could win a championship with Harden and Westbrook, whatever the case may be, you left the place that idolized you at that level. You got brought in there, you were a Sonic for 1 year, then you went to OKC, and that was your team. Despite the fact that Westbrook was there and Harden was there, the Oklahoma City Thunder were Kevin Durant's team. And that was apparently important to him because he jumped around because he went to the Warriors, and winning 2 championships and being on the verge of a third, except for there was an injury to him and Klay Thompson, as we well know. We don't need to go down that road. But not getting those accolades and not being treated as the savior and a god and being behind in the pecking order to one Steph Curry here was not good enough for him. And he didn't like it, and he couldn't handle it. Even in the short term, he couldn't. He was sad, not sad, but he kind of seemed bitter and angry the whole time he was here. Like, why aren't I getting more? So if Jimmy Butler is going to be along that same track and be like, wait a minute, I'm behind Steph Curry. Okay, I can deal with that. I'm behind Draymond Green? Huh? I'm better than that dude. Now, I'm going to be the muscle. I'm going to get in front, like, you know, those kind of things. If he has a problem with Draymond Green being Draymond Green on this team, we know this, Dre ain't changing, and Dre isn't going to take a back seat. Oh, Jimmy, you're the guy here. You know, you're the emotional guy. You know, you're the tone setter of the team. Oh, that's cool. I'll let you have that. That's Draymond Green's whole thing, man. How many times has Draymond Green said, this is how I play. This is how I do it. This is how I got to do it. It's how I got to play. And that's going to be a problem. Like, Steph Curry's going to be cool. Steph's like, whatever, dude. Do whatever you want. You know, just like Klay was. Like, Klay was like, whatever, man. Kevin Durant's coming aboard. Doesn't change my game. I remember that interview. It was like, I'm just going to shoot, man. I'm going to get the ball and shoot. Then that change my game. There might be an issue between Draymond and Jimmy Butler. I don't know that that's going to be kumbaya. And the fact that they're already saying that they're the backup plan for each other. Again, sports is different, and maybe that's totally fine, and maybe I'm overthinking that whole thing. But a lot of times, that there's such massive ego involved that might be an issue. So give me your thought on that. And I'm positive. I like the trade. I want to make sure that I reiterate that again and again. They had to make a move. Steph Curry was going to ask this organization in the offseason with no moves. Hey, Billy, why no moves? Some people will think that's funny. But with no moves, Steph Curry was going to ask for a trade in the offseason. And nobody told me that, but it's just logic. I don't want to be on a mediocre team. He said it 10 times in the last 2 weeks in interviews. He didn't do it by accident. Nothing that he does is not with thought. And he basically said over and over and over again in different ways and different verbiage, I don't want to be on a mediocre team. I want to win basketball games. I want them to make moves. You could tell, too, his demeanor changed in the last couple of weeks. Like, I'm not going to be Steph, jovial Steph, and fun Steph, and smiley Steph, and what you expect me to be, and CEO Steph, because I want to be better. And I want to tell the organization, I want it to be better. And I guarantee you, as nice as Steph is and the big smile on his face, he's an assassin. So behind enemy lines here, I guarantee you he went to the organization and said, I'm telling you, if nothing gets done, he's not threatening. He's just simply saying that these are facts. If nothing gets done, we're going to have a really difficult conversation in the offseason because I don't want my final years to be, as a lot of people said, wasted. I love it here. I'll be a Warrior for life. I'll come back. I'll be CEO. I'll do all these different things. I'll be Warrior man for life. But the next 2 years, I'm going to be Team X, and try to win a championship. And you'll get what you get back, and it's going to suck, and I'm not going to be on one team. But now I think Steph Curry finishes his career here. I don't think there's any doubt, unless Butler goes crazy. And that could happen. I mean, the guy went certifiable in Miami and was just like, I got to get out of here. If he can do it one place, he'll do it again. That's why, when you see in personal relationships, people are shocked. If somebody cheats, probably going to cheat again. If somebody's a jerk and puts his hands on a woman he's probably going to do it again. So if you put yourself in that situation, just know what you're getting into. That I like the trade, and I'm saying I like the trade, and I like it because the Warriors, I think, and we'll get into this in just a second, I think the Warriors can get up to 5, 6 and out of the play-in with Jimmy Butler, and then you get Butler, Green, Curry. Maybe they make a trade today, and all of a sudden those young teams at the top, like Oklahoma City and Memphis and Houston, who haven't won anything, have these vets walking in the building, and they're shaking. They're getting nervous. So look, in that sense, I'm very, very pro Jimmy Butler trade, but I'm not. My eyes are wide open, and I'm thinking to myself, this could turn into like a bitter Durant thing where they can't figure out the pecking order. As stupid as that sounds, and Steph Curry says, "Look, I'm cool with everything, but Draymond and Jimmy Butler are like having some kind of fight for team control and emotional leader." And that sounds dumb, but these guys have massive egos, and that's the way Jimmy's always played. Jimmy's always on every team he's been on in the NBA. He's been the alpha. And if he hasn't been the alpha, there's been a problem. And so for the last number of years in Miami, Jimmy Butler's Heat, that's his team. And now he's going to have to be third banana. And it should be easy because you just want to win, right? You're 35, you just want to win. But I told you a month or 6 weeks ago, for Jimmy Butler, it was about an extension. And then it was about winning because he wasn't going anywhere without an extension. He forced his way out of Miami not because he didn't think they could win, because he didn't get an extension at 35 and wanted to get one final payday. Could have gone to Phoenix, but they had the extension. They didn't have the trade. And the Warriors had the trade, didn't have the extension. And finally, when it came to the 11th hour, 𝐬𝐿ECHA panicked, and for good reason, and said, I owe Steph Curry. Okay, it's a backup plan to get Jimmy Butler, but we're going to do it. So there's the backdrop on everything.